All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for My Hero Academia, Season 6, Episode 17.
Todoroki family meeting.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's have it. This is going to be hashed out. I hope so.
Yep.
I want this storyline to be treated well. I want it to be given the time that it deserves. I think it will be. It's one of my favorite dramatic points of MHA as a whole outside of the overall broader conflict. So having this be something that's brought up now feels perfectly timed, and also combining it with what last episode focused on Hawks, or how the last episode focused on Hawks. I'm really excited for this episode. It has big shoes to fill, so I'm excited.
We have never actually had a conversation between Endeavor or Engie and Ray on screen in the present.
With any kids involved, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Even the time that they had the conversation in the flashback,
right.
None of the kids were present. It was just the two of them, right?
Yeah.
And now it's the whole
family. Familia.
Sends,
Right.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Whoa. Oh shit, the marriage proposal. Fuck.
Yeah, I guess that would definitely be a good context to have for the coming conversation.
Yep. They needed money. And the bride price.
I gotta say, I love the look of his tie with just a little bit of flame there.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Fuck.
Wrong way to put out a fire. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, backstory. Shit.
Hence the weakness to his own fire.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and the hair's starting to
slowly changing, yeah.
Right, hence why his hair is white. I was thinking about that. I was like, he has fire, but he has white hair.
Right. Oh, he's using his quirk. Yeah, his self. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Break his heart so that he stops hurting himself.
Yeah. But he could end up hurting him.
Yeah, it's...
And now you're feeling abandoned because he's constantly looking at every new kid with like the not Natsu.
And this is where shit. That eye.
Shit.
We saw that from Ray and Shoto's backstory. But, and then he's born.
Yeah.
Oh my god, those crazy eyes. Yeah.
Look at me, Endeavor. Whoa. Yeah.
Fuck. I like that they're reminding us of all of... Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we need to have this in our present memory so we know exactly what it is that happened. That way we're not glossing over it when they talk.
Yeah. Hey, there's the scene. Yep.
Yep.
No.
Shit. Fuck.
That glass breaking sound. Or like the ice shattering.
And is that what broke her with regards to the situation with Shoto as well?
Oh my god.
Fuck.
That's the face he remembers from the previous episode. Shit.
Fuck.
Shit.
Fuck.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it all connects back together. Yeah.
Oh. Fuck. He ran away.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Oh, and all the skin that's burned away on his stomach, because that's where he practiced the most.
Yeah. Showing all their unique perspectives, yeah. Oh. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 It's our family's hero.
Fuck.
Fuck. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh. Quickly, furiously, like. in some ways, Hawks, this is not the time, but I'm fine with them accepting that you're here. So, yeah, you have your own similar thing to this as well. Yeah, a hellish hell. Resigning. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
Look at some of those designs. Right. And it's not. Yeah. All right.
I can't wait for when Endeavor does address the media and for Dabi to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, they handled it really well. Fuck
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa. Yeah.
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 That's
they
amazing.
Sue you in order to actually.
It's building music.
Yeah. His hands are ready for chopping. Yes! He gives him the full name! God.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Wonderful.
You know, there was a point when someone mentioned to me, when we were going through a lot of the earlier stuff in the season, I was like, holy shit, this stuff is so good. And they were like, yeah, you haven't even gotten to my favorite episode yet.
Yeah. We might have gotten to it.
I think I know which one they were talking about.
Yeah. All right. We got it, y'all.
Fuck.
We got the Todoroki family episode that we've been waiting for a long time. Yep. This is one that we thought would get like a little bit of this kind of thing. We didn't necessarily need a full backstory back in season 5, but this is what we were waiting for. Was the
Let's have a good conversation.
Because while we couldn't necessarily have it at certain points in season 5, I wanted this kind of emotion to be brought through the story and stuff like that. So,
and this episode, I gotta say, just gets harder and harder to think about the more you look at it.
Yeah.
Like and at the same time, holy shit, I want to see just about every manga panel from the content that this covered, right? Because there were so many stills,
so many shots
where it's just like, oh my god, that is
incredible.
That
evokes such powerful, strong emotions.
And I can only imagine what it would be like when it doesn't need to be in motion and it's just and you don't need to worry about color or anything. It's just
fuck. So we get backstory. We get Endeavor, Todoroki, NG backstory. We get to see how Ray was brought in to the family. How he essentially bought and paid for her. I mean, he literally did.
And how, with the way that it started, it was definitely not starting from a good place, but it didn't start the way that it ended.
No.
Right? Like
of course not. But I think the really good thing that you're trying to bring up here is something that when it starts, Ray is not fully aware of what she's getting into. But in that respect, also, it was the fury that Enji had as he kept not getting the kid that he wanted.
Right. It's from his perspective, he probably didn't see this as being too problematic, right? And so then he starts doing it, and I think that is very important to showcase, because that goes to show that it's not just that like Enji was, a monster or whatever, but hey, he did monstrous things.
Oh no,
right?
He was a monster. Like I think the point that they're trying to bring up is that he was absolutely brutal to Rei, and there's very much like a unspoken thing in the in-between scenes where they transition to each kid, where it's now I'm going to take you and you're going to give me a baby.
This is where the bought and paid for stuff comes into play.
Right, exactly. And that's like the part that they barely even could. Yeah, they barely even could allude to in this episode without it being just gut-wrenchingly painful.
To say nothing of the point that you caught, and this was a good catch, that after doing that with the montage of like, okay, and then they have another kid, and then they have another kid, there's that point where Shoto's already been born.
Yeah, so
and
it's at its worst. And then they have Shoto, and then there's the, we don't need, Toya anymore. And then she kind of does the hero, you're just running away. And then he turns and looks at her. And we cut the episode to a point about
much later.
About like 4 years in the future, probably. And it's since then he has completely beaten her, probably physically and with her spirit emotionally, to the point where she's no longer really able to, I would say, just keep things going.
Yeah, like it's something where
and she's ready to snap at any point.
I was expecting. I did not expect the time for when Endeavor would have struck her the first time to have been when Toya, showed like, hey, I've been practicing, I have something to show you, but I really like the choice to have it do that because I thought it was going to be there. And the fact that they didn't, but they set it up like there was going to be something there, and yet they don't show anything happening. That's
in some ways that makes it
that makes it scarier.
It makes it scarier because it's
we don't know what happened.
He's already been taking advantage of her sexually for the most part, for most of her life with him. But he at least we know that, while they are adults with needs and stuff, there is a point where it's you don't have a say anymore. You are now going to be a birther mom. And that's the point when he does the look at her.
Yeah, it's the because like they don't have kids constantly.
No.
Which is probably some element of negotiation. But it's you agreed to go into this, so no backing out now.
Yes, exactly. There's a really fucked up thing when you look at the ages of the kids that I have always kind of thought about, but the fact that Toya breaks the pattern, if you will, is really cool in a really just dangerously fucked up way. Toya was born first, and then Fuyumi was born a year later, which basically means they waited 9 months and they got to town again and had another baby.
Yep.
That seems, for the most part, like that was the happiest point in the marriage.
Sure.
Everything was very much yes, we're going to have quirk babies.
But like we'll
have a consistent kind of we're going to have a lot of kids. If anything, I'm guessing that was the point when their intimacy was the least problematic or any kind of dangerous for Rei. But then you see that there's a 5 and 4 year gap between Toya and Fuyumi to Natsuo, respectively, which means then that over the course of that time, they each hit that age of 4 years old where they get their quirk tested.
Right, and then they figure out
whether or not they're able to be all might surpasser.
Exactly. Exactly.
So at that point, it then becomes no, we only have kids now to basically do this thing here. So then the intimacy is gone. It's completely not even necessarily consensual. We have no way of knowing.
At the best,
very least.
At best, it's contractual.
Yeah,
right.
Where it's
okay. We started out and we figured that maybe this would just be a bit more of an unconventional marriage. We might not care about each other too much, but we'll try and make the best out of it. To the, okay, no, we're going to all right, when do I need to give you a kid? Okay,
right. But the crazy thing is, because of the 9-month gap in time between kids and stuff, he didn't wait for Fuyumi. Once Toya was a failure, we see in that point in the episode and the way it's edited, he immediately comes to her and is like, Toya will not surpass All Might. And then they give each other the look. And she has this like, kind of like, I am not excited about this because he is not,
to put it simply, he's bringing some bad vibes, you know?
Just a little bit. So then at that point, Natsuo is born. And by that point, then they're able to have Fuyumi tested, find out her quirk. It's taking mostly stuff from mom.
And I imagine
it's not enough for it to be an All Might competitor.
And I imagine because they're shooting for the All Might competitor status, they probably know for the most part before the 4-year like testing period, you know, but it was just that with Toya, because they were like, oh shit, he's really good, he probably will be able to, and then damn it, we can't actually like have him use his quirk because he'll be hurting himself.
But then after that point, it's another 3-year gap in between Natsuo and Shoto, which shows that they basically weren't having any kind of real intimacy, I would say.
No,
outside of these things there. So it's not
they might have been and just been using protection, but given how the relationship is going...
given how the relationship is going, I don't think that's... No, I don't think that's the case. I think if anything, we can logically deduce that there was very much the, you know... the breakdown in intimacy, especially given the change in expression that Enji gives after each point that he then gives her the... I want another kid.
Oh yeah,
Birth me another one. Like it starts getting more and more hateful and spiteful and
you failed me.
Terrifying.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And thus, then when we get to the point where Shoto is, you know, being isolated,
and we know why he was isolated, which I like that they brought that up.
Yes, that was a really fun, complicated thing.
It wasn't just a thing of Endeavor being like, well, you need to be separate from them because you're different or whatever. It's because of the way that Endeavor was, of course that would cause some very real, visceral, bad blood between the kids.
Yeah.
Specifically, you know, Toya and Shoto, because, for the rest of them, they were told that from the get-go, that, you know, Daddy wasn't really interested in them. So, you know, that was that whole thing. But then...
the parenting got better. Like, there's a really, really...
no, actually, yes.
Right? I wasn't meaning it as a joke.
When the parenting is that bad, just not doing anything
is better. Yeah. It's the fucked up thing where parents aren't perfect. So you can have a parent that's a bad parent without being abusive necessarily.
Right.
They're just not very good at being a parent necessarily.
And maybe have some unhealthy, you know, perspectives of their own.
But I'm trying to get to a point here is that as you have more kids, though, you'll get better at parenting, most likely, because you have more experience with it.
Oh, sure.
It's the idea that you'll be able to see, you know, I don't have to make this obvious mistake here or this obvious mistake. But even still, the idea that Endeavor got better by basically lessening
when your number's negative, it's easy to get better.
And basically by doing less, it's just that's what it was.
Right.
So the scene that, of course, elicits the most, you know, violent of reaction within me is the point where he then gets the moment where he hits Ray. And this is not, you know, even remotely hidden. This is just very obvious. We have Shoto screaming, trying to air punch his dad, and just being like, "Don't bully mom!" Yeah,
Natsuo and Fuyumi just holding
scared,
each other behind
crying
a
in the corner. Like that's the Endeavor that we knew was there, and the fact that the episode didn't shy away from that, I think, is really important here because there was a part of me that was worried that because they were focusing so much on how Toya and his quick adoption of the ideology from Endeavor made them adjust the way that they were doing things as parents for the others. I thought that they were going to try and, you know, kind of clean up the image of Endeavor as a father to these kids by being like, well, it was mostly that he was scared and panicked because of the way that he was seeing how Toya was coming about, so he kind of cowardly ran away. And it's like, no, that's part of it.
That's part of it. He did do that.
But
the thing is that the things that, a lot of the things that he did in response to how things were going with Toya, on paper, there's potentially some good reasons why he might be doing that, right? Because it's the extreme situation, I made mistakes, etc. I'm gonna try and course correct and stuff. But it is made abundantly clear that the real reason he's doing this stuff, even if he's telling himself it's the other reasons, right? That's just him running away from the real reasons, and then because he's not actually able to
address any of this,
resolve
it inside.
Sure, but even really admit it.
Oh,
right?
Sure.
Much less resolve it. That allows it to then run rampant because he's not allowing himself to actually stop and look at what he's doing. Right? Like it's just no, I have a goal, and because I have that goal,
he's blind to any other kinds of pain and stuff that he's causing.
Right.
It's the kind of thing where when you break down why Endeavor does what he does, it's actually a really unsettling thing that in a lot of ways he didn't care about his wife.
No.
It's not that he actually viscerally hated her. It's that he just didn't care. Like he didn't really love her. He didn't have any real strong connection to her. She was a vessel, a means by which for him to achieve his dream.
Yep.
And thus, for him, what it meant to be a hero was doing all of this. And that's what I fucking love and feel the strong emotions about this episode, is that the episode makes it abundantly clear that he believed without even really a doubt that all of this was for him being able to find a means to surpass All Might.
Oh, right. Well, and even just separate from that, I mean, even if you don't take the ambitions into account, my child, has been burning himself while I left him to mom to look after him. What have you been doing? Yeah. Like it's something where at the start of the episode, Endeavor hasn't had to address the monstrous sides of himself, and there's a lot of the pretense that's being kept.
What are you talking about? In the past?
At the beginning of the episode when they meet, and he's like looking at her, and he's trying. Oh, you like the flowers, right?
Are you talking about in the past? The very beginning of this episode. Okay, gotcha.
But, we see what's actually underneath, right? And eventually he sees it and everybody else sees it too, and even the world sees it.
Yeah.
And so that's why then at the end, with regards to in the present day, all of the stuff that's happening here, this is so important because, you can't be a hero. You can't face the thing that's happening if you don't admit that it's actually a problem, right? And so now that it's actually been like this, and now he can't run away from it, right?
It's because literally staring him dead in the face as he goes to sleep every night.
Yep. And he realizes just how unprepared for it he is. The ultimate victory is now so are you going to face it?
Are you going to stand up?
That's
the strong emotional connection that we had to Endeavor before this came about because we saw that he was wanting to struggle and change and address it and all that.
Yep.
The thing that made this extra impactful was that we didn't know to what extent the very obvious Toya twist was going to play into all the things that we had beforehand.
Yep.
The best part about this is we now see how quickly and how effective his parental indoctrination worked with Toya to the point where Toya is exactly what he wanted, but just didn't have the capacity to do it. So it's the kid was damned if he did, damned if he didn't, no matter what, because when you have a firstborn kid where they don't have a community to kind of cover them and protect them, like other older siblings and stuff, they quickly latch on oftentimes to the identity of their immediate environmental protectors, like their parents. It could be their guardians if they're not, living with parents or something like that, but they'll choose one or two people and they'll kind of latch on really quickly for, security and stuff. While Endeavor, for the most part, gave a pretty strong image of what that was to do.
Sure.
You could very easily also see that Toya was, in a lot of ways, much more like Rei than Endeavor. Not just from the quirk standpoint, but the ways in which Toya kind of tried to find his own place in the midst of this, kind of sequestered away, kind of
like when he was
away,
when he was like talking to Natsuo and like, you know, looking for somebody to be that person that he could rely on, since okay, I guess I can't chase after daddy.
Right, exactly. He was trying to kind of build his own mini family within the family. And when he couldn't do that, he found his peace and solace out in the mountains, where then he acted out the ways in which he's trying to be Endeavor.
And the thing that's so, well, not the thing that's so fucked about it. One of the things that's so fucked about this is if Endeavor had been honest when the whole thing with Toya happened.
Honest about what?
Honest about honest with himself about what his actual feelings were regarding the matter, and why he then wanted to basically be like, I'm just not going to deal with Toya, right? Like, because you know, he did it because it's for his safety, because, you know, can't get burned, right? So I'm just going to completely go from being very involved in his life to completely ignoring him, so that way he'll stop doing his flame thing, right?
But honest to himself, not to Toya. Like, he didn't tell Toya this.
No, right, yeah. But if he had been honest with himself about it, there was a very probably much more effective way. Well, no, I mean, yes, definitely much more effective way that he could have gotten what he wanted of making, well, no, not what he wanted, because what he wanted was not actually,
point.
Okay, if he had actually talked to Toya and had and treated him as a peer in the way that he had kind of been treating him as a peer, in the, you're going to be the one that I will raise up to suppress All Might and do all that stuff, he probably would have been able to actually get Toya to understand a lot better the problem of you're hurting yourself when you do this.
He did the worst possible thing by not being there. Yes.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's yes. Yeah, of course, if he did the other, if he addressed
just about anything else,
anything else would be better. But yes, if he specifically talked with him like a peer in that regard, yes, eventually Toya would have been able to see that. Basically, the problem is that Toya gets to watch him on TV live out a very different, a different life.
Yep.
And thus the introduction of the idea that you need to be me and be better than me, and then say, oh, actually, no, sorry, you can't do that, so don't do that.
Right, like Toya said, you can't take back the fire that you lit under me.
Exactly.
Right? And even if you don't, you know, take that shit into account, right?
Right.
Like, then it just goes into the Shinso stuff of we can't help what we, you know, the things that we dream for, right? Like,
like there's... Yeah, you can't help the things that you dream for, but also he would have to give him another ideal, which is something that Enji just doesn't have.
Right.
He doesn't have anything else in him. He's so all-consuming fire for this specific thing that was it. And so I love that in some ways the idea of the quirk being something that was literally the worst possible outcome for of all the kids really that were born, was basically the universe or fate, if you will, just kind of slapping him upside the head, Enji, and basically being like, don't do this. You're obviously just going to end up hurting your kids.
Right.
This quirk is literally one that hurts him when he uses it.
It's almost just like he's. It's like, wait. So you were trying to create a super strong like quirk that could, you know, surpass All Might. So you took fire and you decided to mix it with an ice quirk. Okay, cool. If you get a mix of two different things, great. But like, wouldn't it have made more sense to just try and find the person who had the next strongest fire quirk? Like,
well, I guess that's what would usually happen if you wanted to do a quirk marriage. But then it would be, you wouldn't be super strong necessarily because you don't have that super rare potential chance of having the strengths and weaknesses
of both.
Or the strengths of both and the weaknesses of none.
Sure.
Because there are no different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, and I guess Endeavor, we like, given the fight that we saw this season, we have seen what it's like for Endeavor when he pushes his fire to the max. So he was probably thinking of that kind of state, and he's like, no, if I actually had some, because like Dabi's situation is, yes, it's rooted from being like taking more after Rei, but Endeavor still kind of has that a little bit. It's just when he fully, you know, has his muscles be spent, right?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, he was probably looking for some way to have that.
Right, because he at that could not surpass All Might. Yeah.
Right.
Because he's dealing with fucking One for All. There's no way he was going to do that.
Yep.
But now let's talk about Mom, because I think this is where the episode kind of knocked it out of the park in a way that I didn't expect. Was Ray coming in and having the flower and having the, hey, we're going to talk here, showed that she had resolved a lot of the things that have come about from the past, but we didn't know entirely what that meant. We now know exactly what that meant, because it wasn't just, hey, I hurt our son. Oh, I didn't feel like I was worthy of being a mother anymore.
Right.
Oh, he sees me as worthy of being a mother, so now I can come to you. It's, no, I fucked up our son as well. Because there's the idea that's a very, very painful one in a family like this, where Natsuo kind of puts it the best, where he says, obviously you're to blame for starting all this. But maybe I could have reached Toya.
Right.
Now, obviously, we don't know what would have happened or what could have happened.
And that is not something to burden yourself with guilt or whatever, because, if you were a perfect child, you know, right? Like,
guilt and shame are crippling things that ultimately are, for the most part, things that need to be done away with after they've run the positive aspects of them out.
They can help you point the compass, but that's where you cut them off.
Exactly. Yeah. They are not there to be your friends. They are there to be a little bit of a, like you're saying, a compass. They help push you in an immediate sense away from danger or away from something that would be further crippling.
But even then, like, in this would be going into like pedantics and like, you know, personal things and all that stuff. But I think even if you use it as a fuel standpoint rather than just knowing what way to go,
right?
It's gonna
there's better vehicles, by far. So the idea that this family is not bearing the shame of this, but they're bearing a part of the responsibility for this is immensely mature.
Oh yeah,
it's one that you could argue they don't necessarily need to focus on, but this is the part where they kind of do, is that Ray is leading this here, and she's initiating that by saying, I'm going to take responsibility for the part I played in Toya. Clearly, she's already resolved the stuff with Shoto.
Right.
But the thing I think that's really good about this is she's keeping it specifically to Toya. It has nothing to do with you, Endeavor. She's not taking responsibility for any of the things that you did.
Right.
And I think this is really cool here. A lot of people that get put into abusive situations will
blame themselves.
Will blame themselves for the abuser doing things to them. She is keeping things limited to how she affected
laid at his
Toya.
feet.
Exactly. But thus she doesn't even focus on how it's clearly, you know, you made your decisions. It's
because he understands that. That's obvious, you know. Right.
It's in the idea that she agreed to this marriage to save her family.
Right.
She agreed to that.
That was a decision that she made.
And the show does the very ballsy thing to basically say that she could have said no here. But in some ways that was the last point where she really could say no. Like, obviously she could try to leave him and stuff, but that's not so easy as a thing to get into.
And I'm guessing the fact that she agreed to the marriage was probably what kept her both around and
her kids too.
No, yes, of course. Yeah. But like that was probably something that was circling around in her head quite a bit while all of this shit was happening.
Right.
Both from the, you know, blaming herself of like, fuck, why did I decide to do this? But then also the, okay, is there anything I can do? You know, but then of course
So Toya ends up in a situation where he's burning himself, he's hurting himself. At a point, NG basically says, all right, you know, don't let him leave the house or anything, like make sure he stays here. Like don't let him use his quirk, basically. She has a quirk, so she and
it's a powerful quirk.
It's a powerful quirk.
Even though we haven't seen her use it really.
But we've got also the world of MHA where training is an immense part of being able to use your quirk. And if she's mentally not able to be fully invested and involved in this, and also not physically because of, well, this is a very scary situation that she's in. If her son was
and she's not training
her,
to be a hero or anything.
Well, right, but threatening her as well, but then also levies at her the, no, you did this to me, you're complicit.
What do you do?
I don't even know how I would.
Right, it's not a full-on Dobby dance, but like, you know, in the same way that Endeavor got broke by that happening. Yeah, of course, at the very least, you'd freak the fuck out and be like, okay,
I'm now,
while he's off at the mountains and I know that he's hurting himself, I'll think about some way
that I can maybe do things about this, but instead that was the final thing that pushes her over the edge. Right. And I think the reason for this, and this is the reason why she takes responsibility, because she says that the final thing that pushes her over her edge is when she did this to Shoto, and then she hears about Toya dying.
Right, exactly.
So that's the final thing there. But I think the thing that started to push her to snap and why what she did to Shoto makes sense, and this is something where people might disagree with me here, and I'm okay with that, because this is really fucked up for a thing to do.
Oh, yeah, of course.
She saw the eyes of Toya as Endeavor's eyes as the first time where she saw that exchange happen there.
Yeah.
So I think there was a part of her a little bit that was like, if you hurt yourself, that's my way of getting back at him.
Oh.
And it's not that she necessarily wanted that, but it's that maybe that small part of her that was like,
shit.
And it's that thing of where she didn't wish for him to die or anything else, but it's the thing of where she doesn't know, in the same way as Endeavor, she doesn't know how to parentally address this.
Right.
Therefore, instead of going for like help in a like seeking counseling or anything like that, or any kind of other stuff,
right, she feels trapped.
She ignores it basically. And while you could say that that is the best that she can do, I would never go into an argument of how it's something that's the best they could do, because you never know what people are feeling at any given moment.
You never know, but at the same time, regardless of whether or not it's the best they can do, it's impossible to truly know that.
Exactly.
So it's more of the decisions were made in this environment.
And not doing anything is a decision.
Not doing anything is a decision, and that, given the unbelievable extenuating circumstances for all the people that are not Endeavor here.
Yeah.
You can't really have a beef with the decision, any of the decisions that they make.
We're just here to observe the story.
Other than maybe Rei when she pours the boiling water on Shoto, right?
Oh, right. That was obviously a moment there where it's something that we've talked about in great length. Why that's not just the impulsive thing, but why it's it's a very, very disturbing thing. Again, not just the physical aspects, but a whole bunch of other things. So with this here, we see Toya with the burn on his stomach that he's specifically doing here so that they won't be able to see it on his body.
Yep.
This is a very, very, very mature subject matter to bring up, is that he's basically self-harming. He's doing this here and self-harming for the purpose of showing his father that I was worth being born.
Right.
Like that scene of itself is so horrendously dark, but it's something that Endeavor thinks about before this episode as one of those moments that stuck with him of the whole Toya situation.
To say nothing of the whole idea that, when you're a kid, you don't really have as much of a sense of your own safety or like worry about that because you're a little kid, right? Like there'll be things that'll scare you or whatever, but you'll be going and climbing trees and do all sorts of stuff that'll make your parents terrified, right?
Exactly.
Because whatever, you're a little kid, and then even more so once you get to be a teenager, right? It goes into the thing of the I'm invincible. I'm whatever. I'll do all of this stuff, and so. That is also on top of this reinforced by the fact that Endeavor doesn't really see them as being valuable or having worth outside of this whole thing. So it's the, hey, and also probably on top of that, I've also, not only have I seen how hard you pushed me, but I probably also see how hard you push yourself and how it pays off when you're on TV fighting bad guys and saving people. Dad, I want to be just like you.
Yeah.
Right?
God, it's so
like
it breaks my heart because you can see the preteen that he is kind of having that like, my identity is about to start solidifying.
Right. Who am I going to be?
Who am I going to be is going to start actually crystallizing into a full structure.
Yep.
Now he's going to go through his own turmoil, kind of revitalization of all that,
making his own decisions,
a lot when he goes through his teenager phase.
His parents have
but he never reaches that.
Yeah.
He never reaches that.
Nope.
It's one of my favorite tropes in storylines is the childhood lost, innocence lost storylines where you have an adult that is emotionally stunted and stopped growing at a child age, and thus their antagonistic villain type character qualities and stuff like that are based out of a very simple need that wasn't met at that age. And it doesn't excuse what they then do, but it's a way to which most people will be able to immediately understand, that's exactly why they are the way that they are.
Right. And the idea that this episode might be setting up, because, Deku saving Shigaraki, that's something that's been foreshadowed for a very long time.
Yep.
Right?
Now we're even getting it in the OPs. Like,
exactly, right. It's on the nose.
We've been calling this since the end of season 2. Like,
yep. But if we get a Todoroki family going to save Dabi,
that doesn't sound possible.
It
sounds like the kind of thing where people are gonna die.
People are gonna die, or you'll have to beat him to unconsciousness so that we can capture him, and then hopefully rehabilitate him and have it be a more extreme version of the Ray situation or the whatever, right? Where it's and then we're regularly visiting him, while he's kept in a new Tartarus, or
right. Like, and in some ways it'd be very apropos to have Shoto be the one to stop him, because it's hey, you need to address Toya. The fact that, yes, Enji did get what he wanted, but you don't realize how much Shoto has changed to be the hero that saved his family. Mm-hmm. The fact that they said that line...
That was beautiful.
The fact that Ray said that line was beautiful. That was probably the moment that made me the most happy in this episode, because it was something that acknowledged the scars. MHA has a very good theme regarding scars, because it's a more younger shonen kind of story. Death is not really something that is common in this world. And so the main characters have plot armor out the wazoo, but they take scars, and every scar has a story attached to it. Tons of characters in this world have scars that are attached to very powerful things that happened to them, but also very big decisions that they made, very big sacrifices that they made. So the idea that...
Deku being the classic example of that.
But Shoto and Dabi each have their own types of that as well.
Yep.
And yet the idea that they've both kind of gone beyond their scars into being something new in their own kind of different ways, that makes their clash something on the scale of the great brother sibling kind of clashes of time.
Oh yeah. We have Shoto and Toya showdown, and the last Agni Kai plays in the background.
Right, exactly. It's the homage to the goats,
Right.
So
but they're saying here that they're like, no.
Yeah.
Enji, you do need to fight Toya.
Right. Well, they didn't say you need to. They said you will fight Toya. Basically, like I can bring up the scene here, but basically it's the idea that that's going to happen when you step out to do this. Basically, I think it's before Hawks and them Genus
show up.
Right.
Which, God damn it. I feel like, Rebecca, we were having a moment here. But
yeah, exactly. It's right before the...
Right.
Yeah, you'll have because you have no choice but to fight Dabi one day. Basically, it will happen.
Right, exactly. Dabi will not let you not fight him.
Right, Dabi will come after you again. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But the idea that they'll be doing this together even if this is not something where they're literally going to have Fuyumi and Natsuo suit up and, go to fight and stuff like that. It's we will support you in this season here because we're going to each take that bit of responsibility that we believe is the worthy amount for us to handle because we're all a family still. And even though you fucked up horrendously here, we are acknowledging the struggle and the efforts you're putting in now.
Exactly.
Just enough to be like, we'll be with you and you won't be alone in this fight.
Right.
Because why would we
not saying anything about after.
Right. Not saying anything about after.
But until we as a family have dealt with our family shit that's gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
Until then,
right,
we're on your side. We're fighting with you.
And I don't think, this is maybe my favorite thing about MHA's adult storyline specifically, I don't think anybody in this group has plot armor outside of Shoto. Genist, Endeavor.
Yeah, Hawks. Yeah.
Ray. Like, all of them could die.
The main
Any
reason,
of them
the main
could
reason
die.
why I think... Yeah.
Dabi could die.
Oh, yeah, Dabi could die.
Like, all 5 of them.
The main reason why I think Ray, Natsuo, and Fuyumi have plot armor is because they don't have powers, so...
Well, they won't go into the fight.
So they're not going to go into the fight.
But Dabi doing something very, very drastic to fuck with Endeavor, I absolutely do not think MHA is going to hold back anymore. We have crested thematically and tonally beyond old school MHA to the darker side of MHA.
Oh yeah, just with this episode.
This episode, but we had a hero looking at just death and destruction earlier and contemplating
just I quit.
Well, yeah, just I quit, but also it almost looked like they were contemplating what's the point?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Becoming a villain almost.
The nihilism was 100% there. Yeah.
Yeah. I am very excited for the way that this trickles down to the kids of UA. Because that's obviously going to hit Deku first.
Yes.
And
one of the things that I love so much about this episode, so okay, with the previous episode, all right, it's it's great stuff, and then we set up this wonderful thing that we're very excited to have happen. We're like, okay, yeah, we hope it happens. We hope it takes plenty of time.
Yep.
It does, and it takes the whole episode, and it's like,
thank you.
Yes, hallelujah, right? Like we're just like awesome. But then it still leaves it with another thing that I'm super stoked about. What is that press conference going to be? And what is Dabi's response to that going to be? And when you talked about him doing something that's off the chain, drastic, that's where I could absolutely see him doing something like that because he so thinks that he's won.
Oh, do you think that he thinks that he's won, Dabi?
He's going to enjoy his victory and not rush eating this steak. But
right.
But
right.
I
think he let out basically the most gigantic shit ever, and he's feeling that was amazing, know? That was the dance. But now I think it's that he's cornered a wounded animal, and he knows he's gonna bite back. But he's like, I'm hoping you bite back. Please give me some kind of fight.
I don't think he thinks he will, because he was like, I can't wait to see your defeated face and all of that stuff, right? Because he remembers how Enji was in the fight. I think it's the thing of after all this time, he just finally had his first bite of a real good steak. It's marinated for a long time. And now he's like, all right, let's tuck into the rest of it. I won't rush this, right? But
sure, okay.
But I think if Enji shows up to the press conference, and even more so, and his whole family shows up to the press conference, which I could see happening.
They would have to be really tight with the knowledge of the media getting out that they're going to do that.
Sure.
Because then Dabi could show up. And while I think that would be actually amazing bait, where it's they tell the media the Todoroki's family is going to give a press conference about the whole situation with Toya, and they address it directly. That's about the biggest invitation ever.
Shot across the bow. Hey, come on.
Show up.
Yeah.
And then it's just, we have Hawks, we have Best Genist, we have Enji, and they're ready.
And I think Dabi is, I think he's confident enough that he wouldn't think he would need to do that unless they made it obvious that the whole Todoroki family is going to be there, and then he's like, wait, that doesn't sound defeated, or do I need to do this again?
Mom, do I have to do I have to remind you?
Right, exactly. But if that does happen, there's all sorts of ways that could go really fun.
Absolutely.
If it doesn't happen, I can just picture Dobby sitting on that couch, watching the TV, and he's all excited, and then all of this shit happens, and he just breaks even more,
twitches,
right? Yeah, like what the last 10 years was for nothing. Yeah, exactly. And then it's okay, now I have to,
Right. I think that if they go for that way there, where he doesn't have some like knowledge that it's going there, they're going to be emphasizing the theme that Dobby doesn't even have really the support of the League of Villains in this.
Yes.
And
he's
while
fine
he
with
did
that.
have the villain that I keep forgetting the fucking name of, the guy with the computer hacking abilities.
They said his name this episode, but
but he helped with the video being distributed. But in a lot of ways, the thing that's sad about the way the League of Villains situation is right now is that once All for One kind of took over Shigaraki in this regard, Shigaraki wasn't there to look out for their individual needs and means right now, and their small little family that they built doesn't mean anything right now.
Which is, in a lot of ways, Dobby made out the best from that because he was planning on probably splitting more or less anyway.
Yeah, he had his own goal.
He had his own goals.
I had my tragic backstory, guys.
Exactly. And that makes me very excited also for how things can happen here, because in order to deal with Dobby, they don't also have to deal with Shigaraki. Because he's going to go off as a wild card on his own, and so we can have a whole wonderful arc where it's just Dobby we're needing to deal with, and so the Todoroki family is able to get proper focus, and who knows, maybe even Deku's still unconscious at that time, right?
I definitely don't think we're going to get an arc for Dobby, but I think it might be just an ongoing plot line that's okay. We need to wait for Dobby to resurface. We need to wait for him to make a move. We need to do what we can in that regard. And that's where he'll either start cooking again for something, big to kind of give out.
Right.
Or it's I'm going to stalk the Todoroki family. They need to be under constant security. They need to have that awkward thing where it's NG can't be the number one hero right now because he needs to protect his family from Dobby. So it's I'm turning things over to Hawks and Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist is now the number one hero. Hawks is the number 3 hero.
Yep.
There we go. We have a nice little dynamic there. I think it would also be really fun to have in combination with this, to have the wounded heroes that are hurt really bad, come back with their...
Mirko comes back with a mechanical leg.
Oh, I fucking love that so much. And it's just they all just kind of stand behind Endeavor in that regard. And then Endeavor puts down the mantle of the number one hero on, on stage and stuff like that. And is gives a very I'm addressing the controversy and the scandal here.
And now I'm addressing Toya.
I'm addressing Toya. And now I'm addressing all of you citizens. This is what I'm doing. This is who I'm leaving you in your hands with. And then he gives some kind of maybe even some impassioned thing to bolster people thinking about there's a new generation of heroes that is coming.
Right. A new, or maybe a new, well, okay, sure. Yeah. Okay. I like that. I thought you were going to say it was going to be something akin to the, a secondary, watch me,
Yeah, sure. But I think that him having something where it's going to be all right. Why? Because I am here. It's going to be all right because we are still here. And, not just heroes specifically, but also talking about the way in which the kids are going to be taking the reins in the next year, basically.
Yeah, because we did get amidst all of the wonderful Todoroki family stuff we also got that little bit at the end.
That little tease. Let me bring the frame up.
The squads, the squads we're covering, we're getting back and getting ready to go out and do shit.
Well, yes, the squad of the kids and stuff, but then also we've reached out to other nations.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
That are coming to give, international support.
And we got
some of these silhouettes were
it straight up made me think of solo leveling with when you get the super S rank, national level hunters and stuff, and the
right. I'm trying to find the here we go.
Here we go. Yeah.
Currently, the government is requesting rescue teams and heroes. So there's 2 different things from other countries. But since the Safety Commission is at a standstill, paperwork to dispatch heroes can't be completed.
But look at that.
That looks like some
front.
That looks like some big muscle coming in here.
like, I think it's pretty obvious.
Well, we have a lightning base here.
Right.
So we have, the one in the Flash, basically.
But the one in the front, that's the one from America, right?
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
There's in this show that has All Might, who's basically Captain America, Superman, right?
I could see, honestly, though, it's more of a like bodybuilder, like Russian or something like that.
That was the other one that I could.
I could also see it being a thing where it's hey, this is like a form of the Justice League here, just because of this one having the Flash kind of helmet design. So it's wait, what if you then have like Wonder Woman here? Mm-hmm. This could be, kind of a bird-focused one where you then go a tiny bit of Batman, and then you have green, so you could have like a Green Lantern here, and then this is Superman.
See.
Now that's
right. Now there's
it kind of fits the Justice League in a way.
It kind of does. Here's the other thing I'm just gonna throw out there. Totally not gonna happen. But we got Mirko for the built lady, right?
Yeah, Bill Dipperly. Yeah,
Bill Dipperly, right? What if somehow front and center hero?
I will say
that was like a Noi.
The hair gives me Dami Mommy vibes. The hair does give me Dami Mommy vibes.
It's either like lion mane, or. Yeah.
The thing that I'm the most worried about is that MHA has a problem. It's more just Horikoshi has a problem. But he likes to, instead of developing old characters, brings in new characters because he can't stop drawing cool designs.
But what I will say is, I think doing something like this solves that problem in a lot of ways, because bringing in characters that are kids, teenagers, etc., and then not focusing on them, that doesn't quite work as well, because they're people who are still figuring out who they are.
Right.
If you bring in adults,
realized
you can have them already be realized, already having gone on their arcs, they have their shit together, they know who they are, and then we get to just have them come in and
be awesome.
No, right? Or terrifying, or whatever they're going to be.
I think they're going to be a bit of both. I think that even if this is not the Justice League, this really makes me feel Justice League vibes, because there's very much a Golden Silver Age comics kind of like bit of referencing with pretty much everything in this show.
Oh yeah, love letter to comics for sure.
Absolutely, but like old school as well, and nothing is about as old school as like the Justice League, the DC OG,
right? Like assuming you don't go all the way back to like.
Oh right, but
intro Superman.
But that's my point, is that right now I think we have potentially, unless I don't know who little green over here is. It literally makes me feel Flash, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Like these four right here, it feels like that to me.
What green gives me?
You have a cape here,
right?
A very clear cape. No cape here for big muscle over here. So more akin to a super strong character who's going to be showing off their muscles because they don't have a flying quirk or something like that.
Right.
This gives me vibes of more flying quirk. This gives me vibes of super speed, just extremely fast.
And maybe lightning elemental
stuff. This gives me more the vibe of some kind of control type hero.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, because that one seems the most like hard to tell what I'm looking at, because I don't know if it's hair or if it's like other stuff.
Morphic.
Oh wait, no, I got it. You got a helmet with the little spike, so maybe this is potentially like the Russian person or something. Hair in the back, beard with mustache in the front.
Oh, beard, potentially.
Yeah. And then the mustache up there, or maybe tusks.
I think this is more just a hat here, and this is the hair billowing out from it.
But doesn't that kind of look like a spike there?
No, I think that's hair.
Oh, okay.
I think that's hair. I think if anything, this one here, the green on the right.
It's like hair with a lot of volume and then like a mask in front.
Right. And I can't tell. I think one of these heroes is going to be an animal morph type quirk. And it's either going to be purple or green.
Okay.
That's my guess. But I think yellow is going to be, I want to call it right now, yellow is going to be Wonder Woman. There's a vibe that I'm getting that is very like Starfire, from Teen Titans and stuff.
Gotcha.
Like this person is going to be able to fly. They're going to be extremely strong, and they're going to have some kind of like ranged ability.
The first thing that I thought of when I saw that silhouette, and I kind of hope that it isn't this, but if it is this, maybe it could still be cool, is like a stereotypical like ancient Egypt silhouette.
Just because of the nose?
No, it's because the nose, but then also like the fact that the hair is like in flat, that like
perfectly.
Yeah, like perfectly flat and stuff. Like
possibly, yeah. But that could also be a hood because there's also this little bang stuff.
Sure, it could be a hood.
Out.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot better.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly the Flash here on the left, so we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
And if we've got a Noi Dami Mommy Step on Me, for
if you haven't seen Dorohedoro, you're missing out. Go watch Dorohedoro.
If you like Mirko's design,
you'll get some big woman.
You eating good in Dorohedoro.
That's true. Yeah. That's good shit. But yeah, y'all, this was a hell of a discussion, hell of an episode. We are here for it. So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out my Persona 5 Roll Let's Play on Twitch, and if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.